head part is HIU Raiders. We have 4 topics, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, HIU Raiders, please choose one number.
We choose number 3.
Number 3. Thank you very much.
What would you do if you were the Prime Minister of Vietnam?
You have 1 minute and 30 seconds to think and to begin. 2 minutes to speak. Please start.
Okay, so I'm not sure what the context of being a Prime Minister of Vietnam currently, so I'm gonna speak in a very general way. First of all, I will surround myself with a council, with a team of informed and educated counselors, and they will help me in what I would try to do when I'm the Prime Minister. My father has a dream. It's a dream from his time in the university, is that he wants to build schools. If he has a lot of money, he wants to build school because he comes from a very poor region of the country. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build schools. And when the schools are built, I'm gonna build the teachers. I'm gonna have a focus on education, especially early childhood education and primary education. And my counselors that I have prepared and groomed, they will advise me on what to do when it comes to education, when it comes to higher general education and higher education in general. And well, Vietnam is a small country, and we are not exactly powerful. Like we are power, but we are not exactly powerful. So I will have to also be flexible when it comes to diplomacy. And in diplomacy, like we all know who the obvious enemy is, not enemy, and adversary is. And we cannot ally with any other country exactly. So that's why as the Prime Minister, I have to be flexible when I come to negotiate, when it comes to negotiations. And that's it. I focus on education. Focus on education and be flexible on diplomacy.
Thank you very much for your answer. So now let's listen to some follow-up questions from the Board of Judges. Now, please.
So you were talking about education. So for example, if you were the Prime Minister, which country would you like to visit to get inspiration in education from?
2 countries come to my mind. The first is Finland and the second is Germany. The general education system of Germany is very good, and it basically prepares you for whatever job you're trying to do in the future, with or without a university degree. And the second one is Finland, because Finland is the best country in the world when it comes to education in general. But I'm still not sure what they are trying to do with their plan for education, you know. So I think I'm gonna stick with Germany because the system has been there for a long time, and obviously they know what they're doing because they are still the strongest country in Europe right now.
Well, the question was about what would you do if you were a Prime Minister. You haven't said much, you just talked about the education, but imagine you are actually the Prime Minister and you know the situation in Vietnam. What would be the first thing you actually could do?
The first thing I would do is I would reform the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is a very large, it's the biggest problem facing Vietnam right now. For bureaucracy, it's not actually very transparent. I would make it more transparent, and I would simplify a lot of the processes when it comes to making papers or red tapes or any other thing that might affect the poorer people when they need to do something relating to the government.
Okay, thank you very much for your competition for the last part. now let's move on to the next team, the busy team. So let's choose one topic. You have choose one number.
Because we are from team number 4, we'll choose number 4.
Number 4. Thank you very much.
So, if you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for and why?
Okay, thank you. 90 seconds for preparation start. Okay, time's up. Now you have 2 minutes to speak. Please start.
After a serious consideration and discussion, we came up with in our best interest is the 3 wishes. The first of all is free education. Why is such a thing? This should not be considered as a wish, but it should be a global aim for the every country in the world to progress towards it. Because education should not be paid, it should not be provided, as it is not just for the knowledge to survive in the economy, to survive in everyday daily life, but also its education is important. As one of my best quotes from my favorite character is ignorance is fatal, and it is very vital for us to have education. The second wish we have is free healthcare. One of the best example and the pioneer who have thought of this is former President of the United States, Barack Obama, with his policy of Obamacare. It is the first fundamental step that to have provided healthcare for people of all races, ethnic, and countries, not just for and as for this wish, we wish not just for the United States of America, but we wish for all global citizens, as it is, health is something we cannot live without in our life. And for the third wish, as the first 2 wishes has been a bit of seriousness, and we think the number 3 should be something more joyful. As me personally, I would wish for a concert with Linkin Park, as the necromancy has, if just the Benton has come back to life. But I wish for a free concert for everyone in the world.
So you had very nice opinion, which I disagree with. Well, you said that you would like free education, free healthcare. How would you like to pay 60% tax as in Western countries? Do you think the education and healthcare is really free there?
Can you restate the question?
Yes, in overseas we pay income tax about 60%. You pay 10 in Vietnam.
Yes.
Well, that's way lower. So, do you really believe the healthcare and education is free in our countries?
The taxes is divided into many sections, as I studied thoroughly to the taxes rules and states. As the taxes, it's necessary to pay taxes, but it's like our right to have a free healthcare and free education as a human being, not just a citizen of a certain country, because taxes, let's say in a very nonsensical way, is being used unreasonable in our country and in most in other countries, such as for military, for diplomacy, unnecessary diplomacy policy, and that can be reduced and use that fund to fund the healthcare program and the free education program, as the regulation and the rules can be fixed and support to help this idea.
Yeah, I'd like to ask about motivation, because if you're saying that education should be free, then have you ever considered that if it's free, then the students will not try as hard as they would if they had to pay their own money?
On the contrary, I would think they would try their best, as some of the prime example of my very close dear friend that they have more money to help with their further advanced education. And if money is not the issue, they would have even more motivations to help study further, and even can become like a doctor or a master in certain majors of their interest. And because if education is free, then everybody is being taught to do what is right and what is correct for their best interest.
Okay. Thank you very much for your performance. And now your team can come back. Next team, Shooting Stars. Now, Shooting Stars, which topic do you choose?
Pretty much we don't have anything to lose, so we pick number 2.
Number 2. Thank you. Now,
how has the internet affected our lives?
okay, 90 seconds for your preparation start. Time's up, and now you have 2 minutes to speak. Please start.
Internet is a virtual world, right? So we would like to talk about how the pros and the cons of how internet affects our lives and how it helps our lives. First is pros. So it helps us to have a worldwide connection, right? We're able to connect with other countries very quickly. Maybe we ask for assistance, or maybe want to have a good business with them, we want to trade with them. It's a lot easier back then, so we don't have to travel by anything else. We can just use our social media as a communication device to connect them. The cons is, the other pros is, we get to quick information around the world a lot quicker. Back in the day, we only used newspaper. I had to wait for a few days to get new notification from the world or any nearby countries to Vietnam, for example. And for the cons, it has a lot. It creates a social distance between people. People forget how to communicate in real life. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to. They don't feel confident when you meet each other face to face, or maybe when you have hang out in the McDonald's and one of your friends are holding the phone and not talking directly to you, it also leads to mental health. Well, because everything can be spread very quickly, so words can be spread like body shaming or negativities. So people, when they see those kind of bullies hazing through words, they feel depressed and they don't find escape. And they don't know how to connect with real people. That is a bonus. So finally, internet, it's a double-edged sword. It helps our lives in connecting, but also make us forget how we are.
Yeah, thank you very much for your performance.
What is your opinion about the 5G internet that is going to be introduced in a few years to come?
Well, I only know 4G. Can you explain more about 5G?
Yeah, the discussion is going about the fact that some people believe that it might cause some health problems, and others just say that it's just the future, because it will actually introduce internet to many things like fridges, and it's called Internet of Things. So there are the two arguments are that either it will help our society a lot, but also there might be a problem with health issues. So I was just wondering which side you stand on. But if you don't know about it, well, maybe you can ask first and I'll ask something else.
Okay.
All right, so let's give you a little bit easier questions. What I have seen, I believe you think internet is good for society, right?
Well, as I said in the finals, it's like a double-edged sword.
Well, no, you have to pick one side. You cannot pick both.
So, foremost is, yes, it did help the society to grow better in many
it's
factors.
better. So, how is it possible people were happier 50 years ago without internet than they are now?
People back then, when they don't have technology to rely on, they have the ability to multitasking. So yes, back then, the efficiency in working and for the workers are a lot more than now. But these times we require more of our brain, or how our knowledge is require our brains active a lot more than our bodies can do. So it's more of it's a non-labor kind of work. So that's what I think about in the.
Let me ask some bit simpler questions. So let's say if you had to spend a month without the internet, do you think you could do it? And also, what would you miss the most?
Well, I had these kind of questions before on Facebook, and it gives you a penthouse or somewhere. Well, 1 month is nothing. I think I'm not a very well, I do play games, but for social media, I'm not. So if something I'm gonna miss is just entertainment, but I can figure something else to play if I have my one of my friends or relatives, so we can enjoy at least 1 month as like a tour trip to Europe maybe.
Okay, thank you very much for your performance and your answers. Okay. And now let's move on to the very last team, the very last performance today with Erudite. Now, you have no other choices. Yeah, we have only one topic left. So let's listen to topic number 1.
Describe a leader or a politician who do you admire?
Okay, 90 seconds start.
Alcohol or Ho Chi Minh is my is the one that I really admire. I like him because he could study many languages by himself. I had to admit that he figured out any kind of way to live and to survive in foreign languages, in foreign countries, and that helps him to be involved in the culture and the way people live and work. So he could learn the language really well. The second thing I admire Ho Chi Minh is that he was really active. Although he was busy, but he kept doing physical exercises. I believe that almost every day, because the way that he was through is a long way, maybe nearly 30 years. So strong physical body could help him stay strong-minded and kept on going. And the last thing I admire about Ho Chi Minh is that he sacrificed almost his life to our country, and I really admire that. To the end of his life, he mentioned about the south of Vietnam, and he really wanted to visit. And I, as a Vietnamese person, I had a chance to went to Hanoi to visit him, but to visit the. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for your answer.